Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to the channel. I am Stylosa and let's talk about Overwatch Competitive play. And I really don't want to play Overwatch Competitive when I'm on my own or if I'm in a group of 2 or 3. In fact, at this moment in time, I only want to play Overwatch Competitive in a full group. The difference in just the way the game plays is it's so drastic and radical, it's crazy. And it's not because of things players are doing in the game. Sometimes it is, sure, like you might get some toxicity and things like that, but I've got to be honest, out of all of the solo queue games I've played, it's not been that bad. But I've got to stress, currently I am rank 55. Now that, according to Overbuff, this is a website you can go to which is overbuff.com, means I'm in the top 25% of players. That's like a top 25% rank, like worldwide. Now that means that most people at that level, they're going to play the full game, they're going to play the game to completion, they're not going to leave. However, people have left games I've been in. If you watch the video uploaded to the channel, which is my very first ranked game, that is a fantastic game. It's really good. I thought it was great. It was much better than I was expecting. And then at the very end of the game, I think it was a Genji just leaves. This is after we've done multiple rounds and it's a really close game. The Genji just leaves and then somebody else leaves and it's like, oh, okay, we've won the game then, and we get honestly no XP. We get like maybe a 15th of a level, which is completely ridiculous. But this is the problem. This is the really big problem that we've got at the moment with Overwatch, and it is just this. If somebody leaves on the enemy team and you win, you get no XP. But if you're on that enemy team and somebody leaves and you lose, you get the complete negative amount of XP that you would normally get if it was a full team. That is broken. That is absolutely broken, and Blizzard need to fix this, and they've got to fix this quick. Now, hats off to them, they did fix the control point XP bug pretty quick. But what are they doing to fix this? Because this is a major issue. And what's happening is there's a ton of people who are playing this game in the lower ranks. Like, as I've just said, I'm ranked 55, but I've got a lot of information which I've pulled through on Reddit and information that you guys have been sending me over Twitter, which you should follow me on Twitter as well, guys, which is @UnitLostGaming. And in also the comments on the videos that I've been making about ranked. Where you start getting into the high 40s and then into the lower 40s, it becomes an absolute nightmare. Now, some of you guys may have heard of the term ELO hell. Now, what that means is it's sort of like you get stuck in a band of players that you can never get out of in terms of increasing your rank, because those players constantly leave, they do all kinds of dodgy stuff. And there may be players that are actually much better than their rank, but they get stuck because they've been pulled down into sort of this swamp that they cannot get out of. Now, in terms of whether an ELO hell exists or not in various games, that's up for debate. The thing is, though, what's happening with Overwatch is if you keep leaving games, right, and you're unlucky, and like, say if I did all my placement games with a group of YouTubers and streamers, right, and we've been actually playing really well. I think we'd won like 14 games and like lost 4 games or something like that was our record. It's a pretty solid record. Yet when we finished that, our skill ratings were quite different between all of the players. It was a bit weird. We're like, well, what's going on here? We can only assume that it's taken some of the quick play stats and applied them to our initial ranking, which, yeah, I guess is a kind of decent way of doing it. Obviously didn't work out too well for me because I've been playing loads of different heroes in quick play, whereas I've been really focusing on the heroes that I'm the best at with in competitive, like Soldier and Zarya and heroes like that. So when we did our games, it was great, and then after that we started to win. We've been definitely winning more games than we lose, so we are going up in rank, and that will continue. When I jump into solo queue, though, I get put against players that I've got a similar rank to the players that I've been playing with. Yeah, obviously the communication, the coordination is much lower, but the games have actually been fairly good. However, I mean, I've not played 10 solo queue games, so I can't really claim this to be statistically accurate. But based on what other people have been saying, I would expect out of those 10 games, if I did play them, that maybe in 3 or 4 games somebody would leave. Now, if I did my placement games without the guys who I've been playing with, what happens if people just repeatedly kept leaving on my team? And then that put me down really in the lower ranks, which then it would be impossible for me to get out of, because this idea of people leaving is going to become more prevalent as you go down the ranks, because those guys are, maybe guys who have left. Now, I'm not saying that every guy who is a lower rank has been leaving, because, people get put in, they get given a rating which reflects their skill, or they should do. But that doesn't happen right now with Overwatch, because if somebody leaves on your team, then you're screwed. You are absolutely screwed, and they've got to fix this, Blizzard have, because it means that right now, playing competitive in Overwatch is an absolute waste of time if you're playing on your own. Now this brings us forward to like some possible solutions, like how can Blizzard actually fix this? Because this is always going to be an issue. Yeah, they can make things like the leavers penalty more severe. They've already said they will ban you from an entire season if you keep doing it. The problem is there are so many players in Overwatch, and the chance of coming across a leaver is well, it's quite often, you know. What they need to look at first is fixing the way that the XP is done. So if somebody leaves on your team and you lose, then you get no penalty because, well, that's not your fault somebody left. But the winning team should still get the full reward if they've actually taken a few points or it's gone into a couple of rounds. Not if it's the first round, then okay, I'm fine with that. Then just reset it. Don't give anyone a penalty and off you go. But making the losers pay because some guys left on their team is terrible design. But also, on the other hand, if the winners are actually winning, and then, as in the example of the video I put up on my channel, where the Genji just leaves on the very final point, the very final round, after we've played for 30 minutes, and we get no reward, but we've beat them, I mean, you could argue that we caused them to leave because we were beating them, you know what I mean? That's not good, it needs to change. But then let's think about this a little bit deeper. What happens if they go down the route of having different types of ranked queues? When you're playing in a full group of 6, the game is completely different. It's much more difficult. This is a fact, right? You have to be coordinated, the enemy team have to be coordinated, and whoever can actually play the best together, they will win. Yeah, sure, having individual skill does help, but a lot of the time it comes down to coordination. Yeah, if you play like in a, you know, with one of your friends or two of your friends, then you're going to be playing with other random people, so there's less coordination there. Now, the way that the matchmaker works in both quick play and competitive is if we're in a full team of 6, it will try and put us against a full team of 6. But it doesn't always work, because sometimes there'll be a group of 4 and then a group of 2. Well, they're never going to be as coordinated as a group of 6. So maybe they go down the route of having individual ranked queues. Now, I'm pretty sure somewhere in the back of my mind, I think Jeff Kaplan, the games director, has actually said things like, no, we don't want that. We want just one big queue. So is this always going to be an issue with Overwatch? I don't know. And this kind of then moves into a bigger issue of, like, does Overwatch have to be an esport? Does it have to be competitive in that sense? I really like the fact it's competitive and we've got ratings so we can see, you know, how people compare against other people. But yeah, I think that's going to be a discussion for another video I want to do, because it is like Blizzard do seem to want to push every single game they've got to become an esport, and sometimes do you need that? I think Overwatch works great in a 6v6 situation, so we're going to have to think about that, because obviously in an esports scene, you know, that should work, right? Anyway, I think I'm going off the point here a bit, guys. So, what I want you guys to tell me is, tell me again what your experiences are of Overwatch. In fact, tell me how you have been playing Overwatch competitive. Are you playing it with one friend? Are you playing it with 2 friends? Are you just playing it on your own? Because there are some situations where, sure, you could play really well and you could push yourselves up through the ranks. I mean, I've been watching very good players play the game, and they've got a much lower rank than they should actually have, because people just leave the game, or maybe their team isn't as coordinated as it should be, and it's not fair. It's not an accurate representation of those players. Now, I think there's going to be a lot of you guys out there who feel like you are kind of getting you're almost having the piss taken out of you by the game, because it's not respecting you as a player, and it's giving you ranks that really you shouldn't have, and it's also punishing you for what other people do on your team, which it really shouldn't. And I really hope Blizzard fix that. If they don't, then they really need to fix that. I cannot imagine living in a world where Blizzard are just fine with the way this is working right now. It's got to change. Also, I guess to kind of be devil's advocate to myself, this is the first season of Ranked. It will change. So, you know, this might have been all doom and gloom off me, but I am just stating the facts as to what's actually going on right now in terms of the way competitive and ranked play works, which is, it's great in a 6-man group, but if you play on your own, it is literally the Wild West. It's crazy. Right, guys, I've been Stylosa. This is Unit Lost. Do let me know what you think about the video in the comments below. Like the video if you like it, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming. And I'll catch you next time, guys. Toodaloo.